Today will be the properties of equality, and you should write these down as we go along because you're going to have a multiple choice for practice in which you choose the letter of the right answer, but you must know the properties in order to do so. The reflexive property is A equals A. In other words, that means 3 equals 3, 1.9 equals 1.9, 8,000 equals 8,000. Whatever something is, it equals itself. So it's reflexive, a mirror image from one side to the other. The symmetric property is if A equals B, then B equals A. Works the same if you have X and Y. If X equals Y, then Y equals X. If I have 3 plus 2 equals 5, that's the same thing as saying 5 equals 3 plus 2. The transitive property is that if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. Notice that if something is equal to B and another something is equal to B, those two somethings can be equal to each other. So if I have 7 plus 2 equals 9, and 9 equals 18 divided by 2, you could say that 7 plus 2 equals 18 divided by 2. Because this equals 9 and this equals 9, you set them together and they're both equivalent to each other. If I have something like 5 minus 1 equals 4, and 4 equals 24 divided by 6, notice that since this equals 4 and this equals 4, you can set these two equal to each other. 5 minus 1 would be equal to 24 divided by 6. The multiplication property of 0 is very simple. Anything times 0 is 0. So 1.2 times 0 is 0. 1/2 times 0 is 0. The additive identity property. If you add 0 to something, it does not change it. 1 plus 0 is still 1. Negative 3.2 plus 0 is still negative 3.2. The multiplicative identity property is when you multiply something by 1, it does not change it. 9 times 1 is still 9. Negative 3.4 times 1 is still negative 3.4. Substitution property. If A equals B, then A plus C equals B plus C. If A is equal to B, then A plus C equals B plus C. For example, if I had X equal to Y, and I wanted to add W to X, well, if X is equal to Y, then I could also add W to Y, and it would be equivalent. If this is the same as this, and I'm adding W to both, that makes a true statement. We can do these with numbers. For example, if I had 4 times 3 equals 12, and I did 4 times 3 plus 9 and 12 plus 9, that would be equivalent. Because since this equals this, if I'm adding the same amount on both sides, I still have the same equality. Of course, this would be 12 plus 9, which is 21. And that's what this is, 12 plus 9, 21. A plus 3 equals 6. And A equals B. So that means you can put in B plus 3 equals 6. You have A plus 3 equals 6, and since A is equal to B, instead of putting in A, you can put in B. And if I put in something for another, then I have done what? Substitution, right, G. 3 plus 0 equals 3. I'm adding 0 to something and it does not change it. So which is it? It is E, additive identity. We are multiplying 1 by 6 and still coming up with 6. Which answer should it be? F, multiplicative identity. Multiplying 0 by something just makes it 0, and that is D. If M equals N and N equals P, you could say that M equals P because of the transitive property. A equals B, so B equals A. Remember, reflexive is when it's the something equals the same something, like 3 equals 3. But in this case, you just reverse the order of the two things that are equal. That would be symmetric. If something equals itself, then that is the reflexive property. 3 plus the quantity of 2 minus 2. Look what you can do. What is 2 minus 2? 0. So when I add 0 to something, it does not change it. Additive identity, E. In this problem, find the value and then identify the property used in each step. Find the value and identify the property used in each step. So here is the problem, and what happens here in the first step is that we have to go to the parentheses and do 9 divided by 9 to come up with 1. And if there is no property illustrated in that step other than simplifying, then you can just say simplify. But what happens when I multiply something by 1? Doesn't change it. What property is multiplying by 1? Which one is that? Yeah. Yep, that's right. So if I multiply 8 by 1, I just get 8. And the property was multiplicative identity. And then when you have 8 plus 10, 8 plus 10 is the same thing as 18. Now you have simplified 8 plus 10, but you can also say that you substituted 18 for 8 plus 10. So either is possible. You could simplify or substitute. Evaluate an algebraic expression. X equals 4, y equals 5. If the problem is x times the quantity of x plus y, close the quantity and take away y. Then you substitute in 4 for x and 5 for y. Whoops, that's not an equal sign, that's a minus. Go to the parentheses first. 4 plus 5 is 9. 4 times 9 is 36. Take away 5 to get 31.